As you get your quiz back, we're going to go over the correct answers for the quiz that you got, and I want to see you make changes in a different color, preferably red. I'm not going to go over the questions at the top. I think you can look in your notebook to find those very easily. So the first step that you're supposed to do is go through and look for any phrases or clauses to get rid of. So I see of dreams, for a bigger paycheck. The next thing I would try to rule out is it a compound sentence? And I do see a comma fanboy. That tells me I should look for a subject and a verb on both sides. So I see I on this side. What did I do? I traded. And on the other side, what did I do? We've got some adverbs in there, but I never realized. Okay. So if I've got a subject and a verb on both sides of a comma fanboy, then I have a compound sentence, and that's how I'm going to abbreviate it. Number 4, you don't know how to live until you learn how to die. So I can tell right away that there is no compound sentence because there's no comma fanboy. So let's see, what can I get rid of? I see an infinitive, to live. I see another infinitive, to die. I'm going to look for a subordinating conjunction now, and I see until. Until what? Until you learn how to die. So within there, if that's a compound or a complex or a dependent clause, I should see a subject and a verb. You. What do? You learn. And on the other side, you what? You know. So this is a complex sentence because it has a dependent clause plus an independent clause. The next one, thankfully, I can obey the little things. I see a comma, but there's no fanboy, so I know it's not a compound sentence. I see, so I may wonder why is that comma there, and I can tell that I've got an adverb here with an ly, so I've got a transition that's an adverb. I don't see any subordinating conjunctions, so I'm going to look for my subject. What do? I can obey. So that's a simple sentence. Number 6. Wherever I went in my life, I met people wanting to gobble up something new. So I do see an infinitive, and I do see a prepositional phrase, in my life. I see a comma with no fanboy, so that tells me it's not compound. So now I want to look to see, is there a subordinating conjunction? And I see wherever. Wherever what? Wherever I went in my life. I am the subject. Went is the verb. If I look at the independent clause, I met people wanting to gobble up something new. I am the subject, and met is the verb. So this is a complex sentence. You want to do one thing, but you are bound to do something else. See some more infinitives in there. To do over here. No prep phrases, but I do see a comma fanboy. So I'm going to look on the left side. Who's the sentence about? You. What do? You want. On the other side, you what? You are. So that tells me that this is compound because I have a subject and a verb on both sides of my comma fanboy. Something hurts you, yet you know nothing. All right, I don't see any prepositional phrases, no infinitives. I do see a comma yet, so I have to go through my fanboys, and yes, there is a Y yet. So on the left side, what's the subject? What's the sentence about? It's about something. What does something do? It hurts. On the other side, you, what do? You know. So here's another compound sentence. I thought about all the people that I knew who feel sorry for themselves. This was my bonus question to see who my true grammarians were. So I do see a couple prep phrases, for themselves and about. About what? About all the people. So I don't see a comma fanboy. So I'm going to look for a subordinating conjunction, and I see that what, that I knew, and I see another one, who feels sorry for themselves. So going back to the first one, what's the subject? I. What did I do? I knew. On the other one, I have who feels sorry. That one's a little trickier. If I get stuck, sometimes I think it's easier to look for the verb first. So I see feel is a verb. Who feels? Well, who feels? So it's a pronoun. We would call it an interrogative pronoun, but it takes the place of a noun. I could say, I feel sorry. So who in this case acts like the subject. So I have two dependent clauses. Let me look at my independent clause. I am a subject. What did I do? I thought. And so this is complex. Okay, number 10. In truth, you don't get satisfaction from those things. So from those things is a prep phrase. In truth is a prep phrase. So I'm going to look for a comma fanboy, and I don't see one. And I don't see a subordinating conjunction. So let's see, what's my subject? You. What do? You get or don't get. And so this is a simple sentence. And the last one, while this is a great story, it is very sad. Looking for a comma fanboy, I don't see one. No prepositional phrases, no infinitives. So I would look to see, is there a subordinating conjunction? And there is. While. While what? While this is a great story. What's the subject? This. This is. And my independent clause, it is very sad. It is the subject. Is the verb. So that's a complex sentence. So the next thing you had to do was look for, let's see, and circle any words, phrases, or clauses used as transitions. Now, a lot of people just found something that had a comma and circled everything in front of it. We have to think about why that comma is there. In this case, the comma is there because it's a comma and. So that tells me the comma is needed to combine two sentences. That doesn't make the first part a transition because it's a dependent clause. Here I have a comma. Thankfully, I could get rid of that and the sentence would read, I can obey the little things. So that was a transition. We know dependent clauses can be transitions if they're at the beginning. So that one needs circled. Here I have, you want to do one thing, comma, but you are bound to do something else. This comma but and this comma yet, those are there because that's a compound sentence. I see in truth is a prepositional phrase that's at the beginning and another dependent clause. So those were your 4 sentences that had transitions. Okay. When you're done, I want you to turn your corrected paper in, making sure that your corrections are very clear in a different color.